Here is Luis Daniel Maldonado Fonken, and today I would like to share with you a story of my life. Many times at locations I arrived, when I explained what I was doing traveling, why I wanted to visit an archaeological site, why I was interested in mythological histories, or storytelling of ancient cultures, or why I was so interested in the holistic practices of the past, and why at the same time I would be curious about the mathematics and the language they use. So it seems to be that I had so many interests, and for my friends, my network, locations I arrived, they were curious about why. And every story has a beginning and a reason why. And this is what I want to share with you today. And I think it's a good moment to do that because it's part of my story I have never been telling much about, and it's maybe interesting for you. Today I'm trying to give you a context for the story. Today we are living in a world that is globalized. We're globalized digitally, we connect with cultures from all around the world, but at the same time, in the last 50, 70 years, we have experiencing the beauty of multinational families or binational couples, relationships, children coming from the love and care created by different cultures and nations represented by the parents. So there has become a culture of global citizens, of people that belongs to more than one culture or location. And this, while it sounds very romantic, it creates for us, children of multinational families, sometimes a challenging process for finding our own identity, for understanding where do we come from. And this has been also my case. And I think the first time I got to realize how important this was to me was when I was practicing Tai Chi with a Chinese master, and he asked me if I had Chinese family roots because I was moving my body very similar to his students in China. I was also receiving the question from a Japanese circle. I was also being asked from legacy of Celtic and Slavic Nordic cultures about the natural ability I have to understand the knowledge and to live the path. In the same way, I will be connected to different traditions and circles in life, and because of my cultural connections, because of my life history, because of my DNA code, the family legacy, I will discover many interests and abilities, and deeper I was exploring into the legacy of generations in my own life, more easy for me was to activate those jewels of skills, of knowledge, of abilities, mindsets, and while discovering that there's so much richness in our own body, in ourselves, in our family history, I was also learning that to activate that richness, we need to expose ourselves to those traditions, to those cultures, to those philosophies, to those systems of living, these holistic systems of living, and the personal growth journeys that they provide. So on my travels, I will be looking for exploring my roots by entering contact with those holistic systems, those ancient civilizations, the highest level of holistic system that belongs to one of my family roots or cultural roots, or those systems of knowledge I felt natural affinity. And we will say that while in the last 4 generations in my family I will find roots from China, from Africa, from Slavic countries, Italy, Spain, Nordic countries, I will be deeply influenced in my life by Japanese culture. I will spend most of the half of my life living in German-speaking cultures. So it is for me not a surprise that becoming a global citizen was for me the ideal option, instead of choosing one identity that will limit my exploration and development in my full potentiality. So while this journey was that interesting, it created for me a question to where to belong to. So for the year 1999, I was already traveling about 3 years, and later I will continue traveling another 5 years. And I had the question, and my answer was, in my experience as a traveler, of becoming a global citizen like other travelers, and finding my identity in the culture of travelers, of nomads that belongs to the planet and arrive to every location trying to create a positive impact at the location they arrive, that create bridges between culture, civilizations, time, and knowledge, and create positive opportunities to create value in everything, everywhere they arrived. So the connection with the traveler's culture through the traveler's club I created at the time became for me very important. Yet that was not all the solution. I still have the complexity of all these cultures in my life, in my mind, in my heart, in my skill set. And I was looking for something that was so essential, so clear, that could help me integrate all these different holistic systems of knowledge without mix them up together, without overlapping them, by respecting and honoring the pureness, the purity of each system, by keeping the system as they are, still having a language, a tool that can help me learn more of them and make sense of their systems without creating a big confusion in my head or in my heart. So as life normally gives you everything you need, and most of the time we don't notice that we have already been introduced to the solution we need for our life. It happens to me too. When I was a child, my parents used to bring me to archaeological sites and introduce me to some of the friends and to some ideas about the diversity of explanations that the architecture, the arts, the mathematics, the history can give, so that we can understand these civilizations, these communities living there. So I got very interested in the philosophy, in the mythology, in the storytelling, in the arts, in the culture. But more and more I was developing myself into my professional path, learning about mathematics, science, and engineering with information systems. I was developing a deep appreciation for the understanding of mathematics, the primordial geometry used by these ancient civilizations and cultures. And along my journeys, I had the privilege to visit more of these centers in different locations around the world, to read more sacred texts and talk to legacy of those traditions today still alive, teaching the same systems of knowledge, and realize that this mathematics of nature, the primordial geometry of nature, the code of nature, of proportions, is actually the most powerful and simple universal language that can connect you to the frequencies, the light patterns, and the organic experience of life that can help you explain and read, understand not only human but organic life, but cosmology and matter in so many ways, because you can use these mathematics to read everything that exists in life, including human beings, including human thinking, including time, including consciousness. So in my research work, which was actually self-funded, I had to create entrepreneurial opportunities for me to dive into this system. I will discover this beautiful geometrical system, this mathematical system based on geometry, patterns, measurement, that will help me understand these ancient systems, holistic systems, and identify generating codes. I call it engines that generate the whole system of knowledge, to identify how the same systems of knowledge today probably use 10 or 20% of the original system of knowledge in the past, but once we can identify the code, the algorithm that generates them, we can expand our knowledge of the past, the real, holistic, complete system they had in the past. So with this mathematical language, I could explore more layers of knowledge, of meditation, yoga, dances, martial arts, circus art, gardening, community building, personal growth, spiritual growth, conscious sexuality, arts, performing arts, sound and music, healing, personal journeys, shadow work, working with the legacy, the family legacy, working with time, working with quantum jumping. And when we bring the same knowledge closer to our modern science today, then we are exploring on neuroscience, on cognitive science, accelerated methodologies for learning and personal growth. We are working about holistic data-driven systems and tools, biohacking. We are learning about how to accelerate the journey of personal growth, how to utilize the knowledge to create holistic systems, circular systems that can help us in our life to improve our quality of life, to create a positive, sustainable impact in the world with anything we do, with business, creativity, and innovation. So the same geometrical system, the same language that helped me to understand the past and put together all my family roots, the knowledge that belongs to my family roots and my cultural roots and the influences I received in my life, will help me to connect to the modern scientific knowledge and develop innovations with a futurist vision. So slowly in my life, I will keep connecting the dots, identifying in daily life possibilities to innovation to create a positive impact, creating solutions with this knowledge, integrating it to everything I have learned in my life, and facilitating, therefore, services, tools, innovation, creating opportunities for business, for a positive impact in the world with this knowledge. And so the original story, in few words, is basically that my own multicultural origins and multi-genetical nature gave me a rich potential that I could discover by entering in contact with those traditions and systems, but to keep it essential and organized, I needed a universal language that is atemporal, which is geometry, the primordial geometry of nature, that today also can explain modern science and technology, and therefore create a bridge between a visionary future and advanced civilization, the process of growing of human beings today, the process of human evolution, and the wisdom of ancient holistic systems that were nature-inspired, their technology, their knowledge, their societies. And so this is how everything started and how everything keep unfolding. And today my focus is on providing training on consciousness enhancement so that my students or the attendees of these training programs can find new ways to enhance the performance by using this primordial knowledge, the primordial geometry, and all the trainings that I can facilitate with it. It became today a holistic system of knowledge in which it has its own forms of yoga, dances, storytelling, mythology, archetypes, psychology, tools to understand leadership styles and different formats of creating businesses, tools that help us navigate transitions in our life or development processes in an organization, in a business, in a project, in an idea. Also a system for self-defense, for conscious sexuality, for healing, for learning how to eat healthier, for fitness, tools that help us to navigate time, fractal time, to explore concepts and theories like multiple worlds theory or the simulation theory that help us enhance our multidimensional awareness and develop the capacity of quantum jumping, for example, to do shadow work, to work with a multi-generational, multicultural legacy that we have been receiving, ancestral legacy that we have been receiving, and so on. So this holistic system that today includes a new methodology I have developed for accelerated learning and coaching can bring us through a gamified experience into an accelerated journey for personal growth, consciousness enhancement, and achieve an advanced human performance, which I think today is extremely necessary, considering that the complexity that we're facing now will increase in the short term and will keep increasing in the following 10 to 30 years, that the ambiguity, the transitions, the change, the lack of clarity we have on what the future will bring to us, the complexity will increase. And all of these transitions that we're experiencing today in the industry and economy, in energy, in technology, in social change, in peace, all of that will come together to create a great challenge for humanity. And I believe that in this moment that there is so much knowledge in the world, so much technology on the world, and many cultures coming together, we need of a universal system that helps us connect and become one at the most essential level of nature, of our nature, the nature of life, which is mathematics, frequency, and light patterns, light wave. And if we can work with those principles, with a language, we will be able to connect together as humans in a complete new level and still integrate and welcome the diversity of cultures, belief systems, systems of knowledge that exist in the world. And that would eventually become not only a foundation for peace, but a good foundation for us to cope and respond, adapt, and thrive, create in the middle of all of these changes that come in the future, so that we can create together a new advanced civilization and unleash the potentiality of our time, the opportunities that our time will bring for us, to us, into our future. Life is creating all of that for us to grow. The challenges, the opportunities, the discomfort, and the complexity. And if we look carefully, there are ways to create clarity, to ground ourselves, to create an impulse, a positive mindset, a perspective, a vision that align to our true purpose and ethical behavior as entrepreneurs, as leaders, innovators, as families, as communities, can help us to thrive in a future that today is certainly completely new to whatever we have memory of the past. And well, this is my story. I wanted to share it with you. And yes, I'm looking forward to meet you. Maybe you will join me in this summer program dedicated to consciousness, or any future program to explore in the open house or with this guest card we have, some of our trainings and tools, and discover how this primordial knowledge works for you. Because I think it's wonderful and that you will enjoy it.